everyone, so as you may or may not know by now, I am gluten-free and have been for a couple of months, I think about 2 months now, and I have mentioned it in videos before when I was like very newly gluten-free, and I said I might film kind of about my gluten-free like journey and how I'm finding things and stuff like that, and a couple of you said it would be helpful, so I'm going to do it. I know probably not everyone will watch this video, but it might be helpful to some of you that have wanted it. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about kind of my journey with it and what I found easier and not, and how I came about finding out I was gluten-free and stuff like that, which I think is kind of a main point and I didn't realise for so long, so if you're not sure, just try it. I'll start by telling you kind of how I found out that I was gluten intolerant. So for years and years, like at least 6 or 7 years, like that's how far I can remember back. I don't know if it's before that, but yeah, for at least kind of 6 or 7 years I've had problems with bloating really badly. Like sometimes, obviously depends what I would eat, I would literally look 6 months pregnant, and that's not even an exaggeration. I was constantly bloated, like my stomach, I would never ever wear tight tops or anything like that, tight skirts, no tight clothes ever, and it's like a miracle now to be able to wear something tight. Yeah, I couldn't wear tight things because I was constantly bloated. I'd feel sick all the time. I never was sick. Some people have that they are sick. I never was actually sick. I just felt very sick all the time. I'd also get stomach pains, and not like tummy ache, like shooting pains kind of. I'd be like bent over like the counter or whatever, because I'd be getting pains in my stomach. I think that's everything. Just basically the main things anyway was bloating, feeling sick all the time, and having stomach pains. Oh, and the other thing was having a really bad appetite. I just never wanted to eat. Like I'd be hungry and I would want something to eat, but there was never anything I wanted to eat. Like I'd be in the kitchen like having a strop with myself, like oh, there's nothing to eat, because obviously there was lots of things to eat and things that I like, I just didn't want them. I just had no appetite, and I hated food. Like I liked foods, but I hated it because it was always so kind of tough trying to eat something, and I'd always end up eating something I didn't even want to eat, and then I'd feel sick, and it was just very annoying. And yeah, it probably doesn't help that I'm a fussy person anyway, but yeah, that was actually kind of the main problem, was finding something to eat, and then I'd eat something anyway and feel awful. So yeah, I kind of hated eating. It was just quite a mission for me. I think the only thing that I actually liked to eat all the time that I never kind of went off was chocolate. Never not wanted chocolate, always wanted chocolate. So for this whole time it got like misdiagnosed. The doctors, they always said it was like reflux, which is obviously you have acid in your stomach, like liquid, bubbly, I don't know if it's bubbly. You know, you have like liquid acid in your stomach. Basically for some reason or another it would like rise up your esophagus, which obviously would make you feel sick, and which is why it'd be worse when I was lying down, which to be fair made sense, but considering for so long like it was still there with the tablets and stuff, surely you'd think it's not that, but whatever, it always got misdiagnosed. So I was still having these problems, and I have no idea why I never ever thought about it being like an intolerance or an allergy or something. That kind of just never came to my mind, and I don't know why, but it didn't. And then obviously a couple of months ago it did. I can't remember how it came to mind or how I thought of it, but I suddenly thought, oh, maybe that's what it is. And I was also getting like a bit of a rash kind of on my neck and here, on my arms and kind of on the top of my stomach, and I thought that was to do with my tablets, because I had new tablets and they could cause a rash, but now I think it was the gluten, because since I've gone gluten-free I haven't had the rash, so I think it was just kind of strange timing with my tablets. I think it was the gluten, but as I said, that was kind of fairly recently. I didn't used to have that, but yeah, I started getting a rash. So yeah, one day, for some reason, I realised maybe it's an intolerance, and when I thought about it, it was kind of hard to think what it is, because I was like, will I always feel sick? But then I thought, gluten, it's something common, and it's in a lot of foods that I eat, so I thought I would try and cut it out. I went to the doctors like for something else, so I mentioned it whilst I was there. So they did a blood test for celiac, which is not gluten intolerance, it's something else. And yes, they did that whilst I was there, and then from then on I cut out gluten, and within the first like day I felt better, and then as it went on I felt so much better. It was unbelievable. Like, I was so happy because for so long nothing was working, and then it was like a miracle. I didn't feel sick all the time, my stomach wasn't hurting, and my stomach was flat. Like, this is the best thing ever. Before, I would have a flat stomach in the morning, and then throughout the day it'd get bigger and bigger, and yeah, that was the most annoying thing. That got to me quite a lot. That was probably one of the worst things for me. So to have a flat stomach all day I still have a flat stomach at the end of the day, it's like, oh my god. Obviously you're still going to get a bit bloated if you eat too much or whatever, but nothing compared to before. So obviously I went out and bought like a tight skirt, as you do. So yeah, I felt so much better. I could believe it. It kind of made me realise how bad I felt before. I don't think I realised how bad I felt until I felt better, if that makes sense. It was like a miracle, and I was like, I've never eaten gluten again. It didn't bother me. Like, I thought I would really miss the foods that have gluten in, like ice cream, donuts and cookies, but it kind of outweighed it. The amount I felt better, I was like, I don't even care about donuts, I am staying gluten free. And my results came back. I'm not celiac, which by the way is not an allergy or an intolerance. It's where your body reacts to gluten, therefore attacks itself. So if you're celiac, you cannot eat gluten. It can give you like organ failure, stuff like that. It's quite serious if you eat gluten, like in the long run. But yeah, I'm not celiac, I am just intolerant. So for some reason my stomach just doesn't like it and doesn't like when I eat gluten. So yeah, it makes me feel sick and stuff. So yeah, I feel so much better, and I think after all that time I'm like, why did I never think that it might be an intolerance? So if you're not sure like what's going on, you've got problems with feeling sick and stuff and you don't know what it is, please just cut out gluten for a couple of days because it is amazing. By the way, the only way to tell if you're intolerant to something is to cut it out. There's no test they can do. Celiac they can test for because it's not an intolerance. Anything else, you just have to cut it out and see how you feel. That's the only way to tell. So after a few days of just eating things that I had in the house that didn't have gluten, if that makes sense, I went out and bought quite a few things that were gluten-free so I could carry it on for like a couple of weeks and see how I felt. And obviously since then I've carried on buying gluten-free foods because I'm pretty sure it's been 2 months now and I still feel so much better without gluten. And I don't know if people know this, but gluten is also in beer and cider, and I forgot and had a cider and I was thinking, why am I so bloated, I feel so ill, my stomach hurts, and then literally like a couple of weeks later I realised it was because I had a cider, so I'm pretty sure it's gluten. So yeah, I went and bought all these foods, and to be honest I've not found it as hard as I thought I would. It's starting to get a little bit harder because I'm fussy as it is, so my like limit of what I can eat is quite small. So it's getting a bit boring, but to be fair, I don't find it that hard. So some of the things I've bought is gluten-free pita bread, gluten-free bread. I have like a seeded one by Genius, and I think it's quite nice. To be fair, apparently it's quite dry. I've never had it not toasted because I don't tend to eat like sandwiches and stuff, but I have it as toast and it's fine. It's actually quite nice, I think. I like skinny topcorn, which is popcorn but it's supposed to be like healthier, and that is very nice. I have Wotsits. I thought for some reason that all crisps would be gluten, but they're not all of them. So yeah, I like Wotsits. And the Pink Panther, like pink wafers. I think the hardest thing to find that's gluten free is like sweet treat type things, because it's in like, you know, cakes and biscuits and things like that. So I like the Pink Panther wafers. I did once buy some cookies, but it was like $2.69 or something for 8 like normal sized cookies, so they're quite expensive, and I was like, nah, I've never really bought them again. What else do I eat? I have gluten-free pasta, which kind of tastes like long corn because I have the spaghetti and it's made of like rice and corn, so, but it's not that bad. I wouldn't eat it on its own, but if I have it with like sauce or something then it's absolutely fine. That's kind of the main things that I eat really, because if you didn't know already, well I mentioned it in some of my other videos, but if you haven't seen, then I work in Nando's, which is very helpful for being gluten free because Nando's is actually very good. If you can't have gluten, it's very good. There's a lot of options, so obviously like 5 days a week I eat Nando's, so it's fine. But on my days off when I'm at home, I tend to have bolognese or like pasta bake. And I'm going to try having stir fry with the rice noodles, because I've had that quite a few times and I always have the rice noodles anyway, so I think they're nicer. And I'm going to try and make chili con carne, because obviously that's with rice and beef and stuff, so you don't need to have gluten in that. So that's kind of the main things I eat. I don't find it too hard to find stuff, although I do think if I had to make my own food every day, it'd be a nightmare. I'm quite lucky in working at Nando's and getting free Nando's 5 days a week. Because a lot of it is gluten-free. So yeah, I'm quite lucky with that. So I'm not finding it yet too tough to be gluten-free. The only thing is gluten-free food is so much more expensive. A normal loaf of bread is like 80p, less than £1. Gluten-free bread is like £2 something and it's a smaller loaf. So it's quite expensive, which is annoying, but oh well, what can you do? And the other thing I find annoying is eating when you're out, and I don't mean eating out like in a restaurant. That's kind of fine because I like Italian food. Lots of restaurants do gluten-free pizza and pasta. What I mean is like you can't just pop into like Tesco's and get a sandwich. There is like nothing gluten-free. If you're just popping into like a supermarket or something like that, there's like nothing gluten-free. You basically have to have like a box of fruit. So that is very, very annoying. But eating out, like Pizza Express, Zzz's, Ask, all the basically Italian places, most of them do gluten-free pizza and pasta, and obviously Nando's, as I said, do a lot of gluten-free food. So yeah, I'm quite lucky with that. The other annoying thing is baking. I like to bake cakes a lot, and with gluten-free flour they don't turn out quite the same. It says to add milk, just like a little bit of milk because it's drier or something like that, but they're still not the same. It's fine, they're still nice, they're just a bit drier, but I used to be like so happy with my cakes and they're just not the same gluten-free, so that's annoying, but you can still make stuff. I'm going to try making brownies and stuff, and I didn't know whether to do some gluten-free like baking videos, so if you want to see that, let me know. Don't know, we'll see. Yeah, as I said, I'm planning on making brownies, so maybe I'll film that. And I think that's about it that I have to talk about gluten. So that is like my journey so far, how I found out I was gluten-free, and the things I like to eat and stuff, where you can go, and yeah, I think that's all the information I have at the minute. I hope you found it helpful or useful if you are gluten-free or you're not sure if you are. If you're not sure, please just try it because I can't even express how much better I feel. It's amazing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. All my links for my Instagram and everything are down below, and if you're new, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!